Devils Monday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report, episode 271, titled Bastian and Marino Traveling with Team. I'm your host, Sam Woo, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in the bunker in an undisclosed location in New Jersey. Steve Engel already commenting on the YouTube Live, says, love the jacket, Sam. Yeah, this is a jacket I bought probably about 10 years ago. Ramona Rice says, let's go Devils. Dave Singer says, let's go. Looking on, I see people tuning in on Twitter Live. Craig Best says, woo, good news. Steve Tarda says, beef is back at practice. Yeah, baby. That's what I like to hear, although it looked like Miles Wood. Hopefully it's a mild injury. Had to be taken off the ice. Well, let's see what happens, folks. Let's see what happens. Devils embarking on a 5-game road trip. Tomorrow night, they're playing the Carolina Hurricanes, the division leaders of the Metropolitan Division. And your New Jersey Devils are really going to South Jersey, known as Raleigh, North Carolina. Had my travels through Raleigh, North Carolina. Intern Rob, good friend of mine, lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. Also known as South Jersey, because a lot of New Jerseyans have escaped the non-tax haven called New Jersey and have settled for a better quality of life in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, let's not talk economics here, but the bottom line is Dougie Hamilton going back to play his old team again at the PNC tomorrow, where Mike Rossi will be there on the Facebook Live. Ray Leo says Devils desperately need a goal-scoring winger. Danny says, I here's still a while back before Marino comes back. Yes, but being part of the team on injured reserve, it's good to see some team bonding going on this trip. I think it's a great idea as he's rehabbing from injury. Steve Engel likes the Sharon Govich Hughes Mercer line. Loving it. Of course you would, Steve Engel. Marino, he can take his time. I think the Devils are okay. Ryan Graves obviously came back. Dougie Hamilton needs to play better. Siegenthaler, had a so-so game last game against the New York Rangers, which the Sunday edition, they went on to discuss about Devils Rangers, about I wasn't able to get into the conversation because they were really talking it up a storm. Scotty, Shorts Guy, and crew were talking, and one thing they've left out is it was a Saturday afternoon game. I mean, New Jersey Devils fans, especially the generation that are really the first generational New Jersey Devils fans, are really in their mid-40s and late 30s right now. A Saturday afternoon matinee game, well, most likely, if you think about it, and I know a lot of friends are in this predicament, they are hardcore New Jersey Devils fans, but they've got 2 kids playing hockey, and they're playing travel hockey on a Saturday afternoon, which the NHL plays that game, and it's very tough to be at 5 places at once. Travel hockey with Kid A and Kid B, and on top of that, going all over God's creation to these rinks all over the place, and trying to fit a New Jersey Devils game in the midst of it a little bit hard, not making excuses, but the reality is this 40-year-old franchise, they're starting to grow up, mature, and creating more Devils fans in the family. So think of it as planting the seeds right now. There will be more Devils fans germinating. And think about that. Now, Devils fans, let me tell you something. Something that we've noticed on this podcast, especially at American Whiskey, is that Devils fans, a lot of them leave New Jersey for a variety of reasons. Intern Rob, why is he in Raleigh, North Carolina? Because he's seeking an opportunity. I mean, look, anybody that gives you a big fat paycheck, you go. It's just the bottom line. I mean, Intern Rob now is rolling in his caddy somewhere. And others go to Florida, California, like Scotty, taking a job offer with SiriusXM Liquid Metal, going from New York to L.A. And as Rob Klobosa says, American Whiskey rules, it does. But people move all over the place. And I think why the fan base is doing well on the road is because, like Scotty and Vinny, you go see your Devils in your respective city, although Vinny is actually a native Chicagoan. That's what you call it. But still, and I wanted to get into that conversation. Like, boys, you want to solve this problem? It starts here. It starts with the podcast. We talked about garden invasions, selling out our building, especially a Devils Rangers game. Let's not point fingers at the New Jersey Devils organization on this one. Do you blame them for selling tickets to the Ranger fans? They shouldn't, but they should be really pushing hard to get Devils fans to put butts in the seats. All red. All red. And a lot of Devils fans realize, I know some, that just don't want to deal with the headaches. If it's 80% Ranger fans inside the arena and it's 20% Devils fans, unless you're someone like me that likes to take on the whole world and just don't really care what other people say, it's not for everybody. And I would not blame the season ticket holders at all on this one. You know, a lot of season ticket holders, look, things are expensive now. You can make a couple bucks out of this game, so be it. Look, I'm a self-proclaimed capitalist pig, but there's a way around it, folks. There's a way around it. And we can sell the building out together, but it's just like Rome. It's not built overnight, but all roads lead to Rome. Or is that how that goes? I don't know. What do I know? But the Devils, look, Jack Hughes wants to win over the fan base. Jack Hughes shouldn't be booed by Ranger fans. But remember what the Devils fans did to the Ranger fans at Madison Square Garden, and maybe that's what they were thinking. The Devils fans at Madison Square Garden, especially the first game of the season, were chanting, Igor, Igor, and those Let's Go Devils chants were raining down at that dump called Madison Square Garden. The Ranger fans remembered, and they responded. You have to respect that. Did you forget about that, New Jersey Devils fans? That's what happened. And in response, the Ranger fans circled the calendar. January, was it 7th? Saturday? Matinee game? Oh, let's get back at them. But what really happened was the Devils beat them with a Damon Severson game-winning goal. And let's hope, is what Dennis says, last long trip was successful. So hopefully this one is too. I think it will be. The Road Warriors are back at it. But they got to play Carolina. They got to win tonight. Tomorrow night. They have to. These are 4-point games, folks. You do not want the opposition to even get a 3-point game. Unfortunately, the Rangers got that 1 point. This division, called the Metropolitan Division, it is tight right now. Steve Engel says Carolina plays a very similar system to us. Carolina is a little bit further ahead on their timeline to win a Stanley Cup than the New Jersey Devils. Carolina's been well coached by Rod Brindamore. But I think the Devils have what it takes to beat Carolina, which makes them scary good because we have yet to see the best of your New Jersey Devils. John Marino, Nathan Bastian. Nathan Bastian is the key. I've been saying this all along. Not to gloat, but that's why I thought it was important to keep Bastian. Yeah, I know we make fun of the whole offering Severson unprotected to keep Bastian on the team, but if you want consistency out of your players, you got to have continuity, which is why I defended Lindy Ruff being the coach of the New Jersey Devils. How's that working out right now? So far, Lindy Ruff has delivered so far on a winning team. Now, some would say, well, what happened the previous 2 seasons? He was developing. It's a process-oriented approach. He has developed Jack Hughes. His game is starting to really flourish under Lindy Ruff. Same with Nico Hischier. And they're not done growing, folks. It's just the beginning. Reading some of the comments. Craig Vest says, maybe we can push one another. Jersey out with orange and green. I'm sick of the trash jerseys. We are New Jersey, red, white, and black. These are BS jerseys. I agree to an extent, but I think a lot of it is over-marketed. Sometimes the Devils, they just, overplay their hand a little bit. But then again, I don't really blame them on these new Adidas reverse retros because it's through Adidas. They have contractual obligations. It's all about the money, says Steve Engel. All about the money. Seeing some of the conversations going on, and, February 25th is Devils Flyers, pardon me. End of February. We're going to have a great time at American Whiskey. We got some stuff planned for that game. Why don't you come out, fill the building? If not, look, if money's tight, you can always hang out at the bar at American Whiskey during the game. I try to make it as entertaining as possible. We got Peyton behind the bar, Dennis, Mariah. It's the official home game bar of the Let's Go Devils podcast, by the way. 51 Edison Place. If you haven't been there yet, you should. You don't have a ticket? Don't worry about it. Hang out at the bar with some of us. Sometimes I will only go in for the game for about 10, 15 minutes and then go back to the bar, do the podcast. It takes a level of dedication to do this podcast. It takes a level of dedication to go to the games. Brew with woo, says Steve Tardos. We should. Max says, that's Sam. If you could have one player in the league to round out this team, who would it be? Well, till that whole thing happened with Nico Hischier, it was all about Matthew Tkachuk. All about him. But now he just kind of pisses me off a little bit. A little bias. But really, who would I want on the New Jersey Devils? I know a lot of you want snipers. I know a lot of you want some more scoring, but I don't think offense is the problem with the New Jersey Devils. Once you get Bastian back, you've got Palat, you've got your $6 million man in Palat. Haula, if Haula goes to the third line, who would I want? You know what? I like to go defense. I would like to go defense. But who would be available for the New Jersey Devils on defense? Dave Singer says we should do a roadie to Pittsburgh on Saturday, February 18th. Would be great to do that. Unfortunately, time constraints get myself out to Pittsburgh, maybe a little bit of a problem. Especially, yes, I know. It's a 5:30 p.m. game. Working with Arlette Steakhouse Tavern, get an event going. Let me take a little bit of a focus group question here. Would you go on a Saturday night? Would you go on a weeknight? It's hard to do these things. Peter says you should do a group outing like Brat Pack did. Yeah, I could. I have some big ideas about it. I think we should, again, trust the process. Well, let's try to start off small first and try to organize, and then we kind of build it from there. We'll start off, buy a bunch of tickets, buy it through the podcast. I'll have to talk to the New Jersey Devils about it. My ticket rep actually called me today, left a message. I was kind of busy, but I wish I picked up because I would have asked him a lot of questions. So, did you guys have fun making money by selling to Ranger fans? And then my second question would be, hey, about group tickets, how does that whole thing work? I have to figure that out. It's been a while since I've purchased group tickets with the Devils. Fun story for you. So back in my early 20s, when I was attending the Pennsylvania State University, I thought it would be a brilliant idea with my friends. We thought, all right, well, we got to start having kegs at our tailgates outside of Continental Airlines Arena. But, it's kind of, you try to put it in your SUV, and then you got all your tailgating supplies, your grill, all that, the food, the cooler, and all that. It doesn't really all fit if you're going to get a quarter barrel to the game and then also fit your friends in your Jeep. So we decided to have Ryder Truck Night. Ryder Truck Night? What was Ryder Truck Night? We literally rented a Ryder truck just to put in 2 kegs. And we also had propane heaters as well because it was like 1 degree outside. And we had Ryder Truck Night. Now, this is before 9/11, where you could actually take a Ryder truck and park it up front at Continental Airlines Arena. And we actually partied in the Ryder truck because it was so cold and had those heaters inside the Ryder truck. Full-size Ryder truck. We weren't sure to get a U-Haul or what we call a Ryder Truck Night. True story. This happened probably in the year 2000. Again, we got away with a lot of stuff pre-9/11 days, but yeah. So no security didn't care. We had a great time. Max says, ask American Whiskey for a keg. And he said, I'd say, what kind of discount do they throw in? Well, let's talk about it, folks. I mean, it's the natural law of economics here that if you buy group tickets, you're going to get a discount. Some organizations use it as a fundraiser. But I think we need to, if you want to fundraise for the Let's Go Devils podcast, I'd rather just see if it works first before we start really getting crazy with it. And I don't think it's a bad idea. It may be too late in the season, but I'll make a couple phone calls. The other thing, too, is I got to make sure that Beer Baron, the crew, would be available that evening. I'd be kind of cool to. Let's start off with the Rock Prudential Center, and as time goes along, maybe we could travel. I know Nashville's a nice destination, but unfortunately I can't make it. Unfortunately. D.C.? Yeah, we'll meet up Dave Singer in D.C. Max Petinoff, stop picking on Beer Baron because of me. Max, let me tell you something. That review you wrote was excellent. It's everything we'd asked for. It was a beautiful review. It was beautifully written. I thought Nick Volano wrote it because it was so beautifully written. It got the 5 stars. But also, it's got a lifetime of comedies where we could rip on Beer Baron in the group text. So, Max, I'll tell you, you did such a great job with that review without even knowing it. Your intentions were good. Your spirit was high. You tried to help the podcast. And what happened? Another story just is coming out of it. It's actually, get out and show you. I feel terrible, says Max, because we rip on Beer Baron. Well, if you want, we can stop. The problem is we can't help ourselves. Besides, Beer Baron loves it. Trust me, he loves it. Beer Baron lives the good life. He's an art teacher. He's a good teacher. And his wife, she can build a backyard deck in about 36 hours. Anyway. Max says, no, it's too funny to stop. Of course. But no, Max's review was excellent. Maybe we should read off some reviews. I know we're getting off topic, off the rails, but that's what we do here at the Woo Report. We tell you something like Bastian and Marino are traveling with the team, which I think they're going to be great. But also, it's also a good time to talk with the fans. Sometimes you guys listen to what we talk about, can't get your comments in. Here's a good time to get your comments in. So, also we do this for the truckers. We love our truckers of the Let's Go Devils podcast. If you're listening in right now, 10-2 on the wheel, 9-3 if you prefer. Give us a honk. Who cares? You guys are great. Let's see here. Let's look at the reviews. So you go to the Apple Pod. If you have an iPhone, you go to the podcast app. I'm pressing it right now. We should actually do a demo. So I'm pressing that right now. Search Let's Go Devils podcast. If it's up, it should be up on your phone. Press on Let's Go Devils podcast, and I'll show you. That's what mine is on the, see the podcast page on the video feed for those in your car. And you scroll all the way down till you see reviews. So you see a bunch of podcasts, and then you scroll all the way down. You see the reviews. Then you see the ratings and reviews. You just hit see all. We'll read some of them. Beefalytics. I'm an OG fan, Devils fan. I was at Game 4 versus Detroit. I really appreciate and enjoy the podcast. I was listening before the State of Fan Address. I enjoy all the extra content. Hate that word, content. Woo Report. You guys got me through the losing years. Let's enjoy the Hughes years. All right, that's a good one. Devilish Fun. Devilish Fun, which is Max. while some people would call this a Homer podcast, the whole crew give a pretty neutral view on Devils play, players versus the league. At the end of the day, it's the Devils podcast, and if you don't like it, go cry some more at that dump called Madison Square Garden. No, he didn't say that part. He said some more at MSG. Sam, Scotty, Nick, Vinny, and Shorts Guy give a unique perspective from diehard Devils fans. They have been watching the team for a long time, dating back to the Meadowlands. These guys do it for the fans. They get unique perspectives from team reporters, inside sources, and more on the show. These guys tell it how it is. Of course we are. We're from Jersey. They do the YouTube Lives where they interact with fans of the podcast, giveaways, courtesy of JCB Architectural, and meetups. If you're not listening to this podcast as the Devils fans, what are you waiting for, all caps? Thank you, Max. Read another one. The title, I think the title speaks for itself, meaning the Let's Go Devils podcast. Sam Wu, Nick, and the crew are awesome people. If you love the NJ Devils, this podcast is for you. Let's Go Devils. Devils Fan 95. The Devils, 5 stars, love to hear it, says, the only daily podcast, Devils podcast out there. Whoa. Then think about it. It wasn't part of our business model to do that, but consistent, says LU21 Welder. We love our welders, too. It's a good trade, by the way. Good to have a Devils podcast that updates daily as opposed to, quote, when we feel like it, end quote. Recaps are solid, and the celebrity guests are fun. Keep working, guys. Well, thank you, LU21 Welder. Best Devils pod, real talk. DaveStamp.app. Obviously, Dave Singer. Thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. Sam and crew keep it real, have excellent insights, and the community have a voice. Highest recommendation. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Seeing some other bad reviews here. But thank you, guys. Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, Amazon Music Prime, iHeart app, Spotify. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, Game Day Live, for the Devils take on the Carolina Hurricanes. And Scotty at SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was. Big Devils Tuesday coming up. Dropping the podcast at midnight. Thank you, folks. Enjoy your commute. And if you're a trucker, breaker 19. Let's go, Devils. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.